What is going on, YouTube? I'd like to welcome you guys back to Red's World. So today we're going to be getting into a list that I made for the top 10 games of 2021 so far. This is the list of things that I enjoyed so far, also that I think you basically recommend. This list kind of doesn't have it has an order of the best I could do for it, but it's not like a set order. I'm not saying number 1 is better than 10, but you know, it's kind of like if I had to rate it, then this is the setup. Again, this is the top 10 games of 2021 so far. Number 10, Yakuza. Now, the reason I say Yakuza and not a specific one is because this year actually was the first year that Yakuza was available on Xbox as well as PlayStation. They put out the remastered collection, they put out Yakuza 0, so on and so forth. But not only that, they also put out Yakuza Like a Dragon. The Yakuza games are great games. I compare them to things like GTA San Andreas when it comes to just the amount of stuff in the world that you could do, all the mini games, so on and so forth. You know, there's a lot of fighting in it, and there's a lot of fun to be had. If you haven't checked out Yakuza and you like fighting games and you like open world games with a lot of lore and a lot of content, then definitely check out Yakuza. They're really awesome games. After that, we got number 9, which I'm gonna say Judgment. Judgment did also come out last year, and that's why I put these two at the beginning of the list. However, it got a next-gen update, and with the next-gen update, it came to Xbox as well. It was only available on PlayStation last year. It may have been even a year before that, but it's now available on Xbox, and it came out next-gen this year. So with Judgment, it's basically a Yakuza spin-off, but world full of fun, lots of fighting, lots of crazy things going on in the game. There's a lot of fun to be had. Crazy game. A lot of fun to be had, though. These games are riddled with side quests and just fun things that you could do that a lot of games don't have anymore. Alright, so at number 8, I'm putting Operation Tango. Now, if you haven't heard of Operation Tango is a co-op game where essentially you have to help each other out. It's similar to games like We Were There and things like that, where essentially you have to help your teammate, but also your teammate has to communicate with you so that way you can help them. You have to, oh, you know, I'm in this hallway and there's this or that, and then they're saying, oh, okay, I see that on this screen, now I can open this door or whatever, and there's puzzles and crazy stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's only a $20 game, but this is one of the ones that I feel challenges you and your friends to actually communicate and work together. I think these are great games in times of just run in and shoot Warzone. You know, people don't like to strategize or anything. These games really help with that kind of mentality. Going on to number 7. Now this is a great game, another co-op game. It Takes Two. It Takes Two is made by the makers of A Way Out, which if you haven't played A Way Out, highly recommend checking that out. A Way Out was a fantastic co-op game. And this is, you know, the same thing. It's an incredible adventure between, you know, a husband and a wife who are having relationship issues. They get turned into dolls. It's wild. It's a pretty wild adventure, and there's a lot of platforming and stuff. So if you don't like platforming, probably stay away from this one, but it's a really fun co-op game. I believe it has to be played in co-op. And there's just a lot of dialogue that's fun, a lot of little quirky stuff. It reminds me of a Disney or a Pixar movie or something like that. Definitely a lot of fun. If you like co-op games, definitely check this one out. Alright, and at number 6, we got Knockout City. Now, if you haven't played Knockout City yet, I recommend you do so. It's one of the more fun and very quick multiplayer games that has come out. It's a dodgeball game, and essentially it's a 3v3, sometimes 4v4. You could do 1v1s and stuff like that based on certain game types, but for the most part it's a 3-on-3 dodgeball game. You can throw, you can fake, you can catch, you can curve the ball. There's all kinds of different little tricks that you could do, but more importantly than anything, one of the things that I love about games like Knockout City is it's quick. You get in, get out, 5 minutes. The match is 5 minutes, it's over, and it doesn't have to be an all-day thing like a Battlefield match or something. And I do like Battlefield, but a game has to be really good for me to want to play a 45-minute match. And this game does enough to make you want to keep coming back and play it. Maybe, you know, hey, I got 10 minutes, you know, let me play a game real quick and things like that. So it's definitely one that I think you should check out. Also, it's available on the Game Pass. All right, and at number 5, we have Chivalry 2. You know, I would compare it to the likes of something like You know, battlefield mixed with old-timey weapons. You know, it's a massive scale battle. You can play smaller game types, but what it's known for is just massacring people. Really fun combat. I'm probably doing a terrible job of explaining it, but it's a lot of fun. You definitely got to check it out. This one is one that I don't think is going to be for everybody, but if you like fighting games, you like cutting people in half and screaming and just having a lot of fun like that, this is definitely one you shouldn't pass on. Okay, and at number 4, I have Little Nightmares 2. Little Nightmares 1 was a great game. Highly recommend playing that. Little Nightmares 2 just adds on to that, and it makes the game feel like it comes full circle. There's a lot of information there and a lot of just really weird environments. It reminds me of a Tim Burton kind of feel, or like just this weird dystopia of just crazy dark, like you're just going, what is going on the whole game, you know? I definitely think it's worth checking out if you like suspenseful games. It's not necessarily horror unless you're new to horror or something, you know. It's not gonna scare the pants off of you, but it is a pretty fun experience, and there is some horror elements in the game. Okay, so at number 3, I have Subnautica Below Zero. Now, this is a rough one. This game is not for everybody. It wasn't even for me when I first got it. I did a video on the channel, and in that video, I didn't pick the game up for another couple weeks. I didn't know what to do. I was stuck, but my girlfriend started playing it, and we played together, not like co-op or anything, but we played side by side, and we just happened to start figuring things out. And after that learning curve and after figuring the game out, man, Subnautica Below Zero is a fantastic experience. There aren't too many games that are like it. You can customize your base, you could build, you could do all kinds of crazy stuff. You're finding blueprints, there's a crazy story, like, it comes full circle. The game is actually a really, really enjoyable experience. And when I say when we fell in love with this game, we didn't stop playing it for at least 2 weeks. We just did everything there was to do in the game for 2 weeks straight. Alright, at number 2, Hitman 3. If you're a fan of the Hitman series, this shouldn't come as a surprise to you. Hitman is one of the games that still has the stealth elements where you can take outfits, hide bodies, you can attack the mission a million different ways. Each level takes several hours to complete if you're actually taking your time and figuring out what you want to do and planning moves and things like that. You know, you could run through and just, if you want to be chaotic, you can run in with a gun and just kill everybody. However, I feel where the game really shines is the stealth elements are insane. You can put poison in drinks, you can have exploding golf balls. I mean, there's a million different ways, literally, to take out each target, and you get rewarded for everything that you do. Games don't really get made like Hitman anymore. You know, that's one of the few exceptions to the rule where it's just completely built from the ground up to be in depth and rewarding to play, and just a sandbox that you could do whatever you want in it, and it's really, really enjoyable if you like being creative on how to kill people or just running in and being chaotic. It's also got wonderful graphics. Highly recommend checking Hitman out. And at number 1, Resident Evil Village. Now, I don't know if people are going to disagree with that. I really don't care, or else I wouldn't be doing this list in the first place. But Resident Evil Village was so good. I mean, it felt like a classic game. It had the retro feel of like the original Resident Evils without looking bad or having clunky gameplay. It was an absolute joy all the way through. I did everything that I could do. I mean, I wanted to milk that game for every second of time. It was so good. Absolutely incredible game. Even my girlfriend played it, and she doesn't really play horror games or anything like that, and she loved it. She loved it. You know, I introduced her to the series. She's going to be going back and playing Biohazard and things like that, but Resident Evil Village was incredible. They did an incredible job with that. It makes me excited to see what they're going to do next with Resident Evil. You have to play this game. Unless you just can't play horror games, you have to play Resident Evil Village. Absolutely incredible game. There was only one scene in the game, and I'm not going to spoil it, but there was only one scene in the game where I was like, they could have did better than that. The rest of it, solid. I mean, the atmosphere, the graphics, the sounds, the weapons, the way you level up, everything is literally just masterfully crafted and an incredible experience. Now that I've spieled about my top 10 games of the year so far, let me know down in the comments what your top 10 games of the year so far are. Also, let me know if you agree with any of mine, disagree with any of mine, whatever. I will have a video coming out here soon for my top 10 flops of the year so far. That should be interesting. That's going to definitely upset some people. But thank you guys for coming to Red's World. Stay tuned for more to come soon, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Yeah, tell them, don't never, don't quit, don't settle, don't slip, don't never, don't quit, don't settle, don't give, don't.